All right, week 8 Dolphins versus Lions. A must-win game to say the very least. It's a 1-5 Detroit Lions team. They're young. The Dolphins started the season out 3-0, then you lose 3 straight. You need to come back with another win streak. And considering the teams that we play, the Lions this week, the Bears after that, then the Browns, and then the Texans, you need to win this game and get a little win streak going, especially after those 3 lost games in a row. But another week that the injury report takes up the whole entire screen, but it's really not as bad as it looks. Only 5 questionable players: Tanner Connor, Clayton Fejedelem, Xavier Howard, Thomas Morstead, and Durian Smythe. Also, Emmanuel Ogba is questionable. Not many concerning players here. Xavier Howard, I have a really good chance that he will play, and if he doesn't, please play Xavier Howard. That's all I'm going to say. Especially, I'll talk about it later, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be a dangerous weapon tomorrow. Thomas Morstead, he should play. Durian Smythe, would love for him to play. He did play in the Steelers game, and that was big. Tua was not sacked once, I believe, off the top of my head. I don't think there was a single sack led up by that Dolphins O-line. Emmanuel Ogba was out last week. It's a back injury, so last thing you want is to, have another setback with that. If I would keep him out this game just to have him for the rest of the season and risk a chance of having him re-injured, but I would love to see him back out there, especially with the pass rush not being great. Emmanuel Ogba himself hasn't been great either, so pass rush is another thing to look at with the trade deadline coming up, but the injury report is not very concerning. I'm glad to have Keon Crossan and Kader Kohu back out there. That's going to be huge. Austin Jackson is out. Byron Jones is also out. So that just, at this point, Byron Jones, we can honestly just expect him to be out for the rest of the season, which is really annoying. But the 4 corners that should be out there, the 4-5 starting corners is Xavier Howard. You're going to have Kader Kohu, Keon Crossan out there. You're going to have Noah Igbenogany out there, who has, all the support on his side after last week's game-stealing interception, but he's still a very big liability on the field at all times. And then probably Justin Bethel should be out there too. I'm hoping that the Dolphins can explore a trade at least for a cornerback before Tuesday's deadline, but we'll see how that goes. For the Lions, they don't really have many. Well, actually, they have a couple players out. Deshaun Elliott, the safety's out. Charles Harris, the defensive end, is out. Mike Hughes, cornerback. Chase Lewis, another cornerback, a safety that I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, and also Matt Nelson, a tackle. So they do have a couple players out, not many huge guys for them. But yeah, this is going to be a game, like I said, a must-win game. Dolphins are traveling. That shouldn't even affect them. It's still a 1 p.m. game. I don't know if there's a time difference, but even if there is, whatever. You need to win this game. I think it will be very high scoring. The Lions offense has been really dynamic this season. Now you get your 2 best playmakers out in Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. Jared Goff and that Lions offense in general has been really, really solid with those 2 guys in their lineup. The Dolphins defense has been playing the best this season, but on the other side, the Dolphins offense has been rolling with Tua in the game, and obviously he's going to be playing. The Lions defense has been one of the worst in the league. So, 2 good offenses versus 2 bad defenses is going to equal a very high scoring game. So that is exactly what I expected. Hoping that the Dolphins, come way on top. But that's going to be something that we see. I would love for this to be a statement game where the Dolphins just prove that any bad team won't even be a challenge, which is going to be something huge. Next week against Chicago, that should be something that we see too. And now Robert Quinn was traded to Philadelphia, so he's not even something that we have to worry about. They don't have anybody on that team that I need to worry about. And I think that there's even a fair chance that Roquan Smith could even be on the Miami Dolphins by the time that we face them. So we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm getting off track. The Lions game, before the season, they were known to have one of the best offensive line units in the NFL. That O-line unit has not been playing great this season. Jared Goff has been sacked many times. I think one of the most quarterbacks that has been sacked in the NFL this season. But like I said, Xavier Howard is going to have to play. Amon St. Brown is back from his concussion, I think it was. So I honestly would not even be surprised if he doesn't even start the game on him. It could be a guy like Keon Crossan who does. It would have maybe been a guy like Nick Needham, who's like a faster corner, but obviously he's out for the season, which is going to really suck. Josh Reynolds, like these guys are good, but it shouldn't really be a huge challenge. I don't think that we're going to completely shut down their offense, but I do think that there's a good chance that we slow them down. We've seen our defense just collapse at times after having a great start to games or having a horrible start to games and then coming together completely for the second half, like the Ravens game. But this is going to be a game where I would prefer that we stay average the whole entire game, because if this offense for the Lions can get going, they can really get going. I know they're young. I know that they barely win games, but I would love to not really have a heart attack, not to really even worry about this game. Like the Steelers game last week, like I said in the preview, this would be a game that I would love to just sit back and relax the victory, and not even have to worry about a close game or anything. This is a game that I feel like people are going to take the Lions, and the Lions can potentially, have some flashes here and there. But the one thing I'm really scared of is DeAndre Swift. He's finally back from his injury after 3 or 4 weeks, I want to say. And we know what he can do. And not only what he can do, but we know what the Dolphins' defense, the run defense, is capable of. And by capable of, I mean not capable of defending the run. So I'm kind of scared of DeAndre Swift. If we can shut him down and find a way to slow down Amon St. Brown, who's been on a pretty big tear this season when he's able to play, like I said, multiple times, that Lions offense is pretty dangerous. And on the other side, it's time to kind of brag about our offense. I do not think that the Lions have a chance at stopping our offense. Connor Williams has been one of the best centers all season. I know his high snaps are a little bit of a problem, but blocking-wise, he's been one of the best centers. Robert Hunt has been a really, really nice, big improvement from last season, as he was still our best O-line last season. Teron Armstead is doing exactly what we signed him to do, completely embarrassing defensive ends who try to get past him. Liam Eichenberg has been nothing short of absolutely awful, which is kind of what we expected. And I don't think that they're really going to trade away Liam Eichenberg or, bring another guy in, which is going to suck. But he played pretty well last week, so that's something that I'm hoping that can improve. Brandon Shell, I'm guessing, is going to get the start again this week, considering that the O-line let up no sacks last week. We'll see what happens, though, if Greg Little starts. But like I said, it should be Brandon Shell. And now, for the receivers and the Lions cornerbacks, who's going to stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Tyreek Hill has probably been one of two best receivers this year, maybe between Justin Jefferson and him. But it's probably been Tyreek Hill who's probably the favorite for Offensive Player of the Year right now. And I think that he will have an amazing game. I think Waddle should have a really good game too. I think there's a really good chance that one of them have a good game. Would love for it to be Tyreek Hill, considering that he just has drawn a lot of attention from the defenses. But the Lions defense is young, and I don't think that they will have any chance of stopping him. Aiden Hutchinson, on the other hand, is going to be a guy that you're going to want to stop if you're the Dolphins O-line. You don't want to let him get to Tua. You don't want to let anybody get to Tua. Do what you did last week. No sacks allowed. I kind of already said the 5 things that the Dolphins need to do to win this game. Basically, stop, Amon St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, stop their offense from generating big-time plays, and moving on the offense, generate those big plays. Do what you did last week, at least in the first 2 drives of the game. Don't just go away you know what I mean? In the second half of the Pittsburgh game, the offense just kind of fell apart. You cannot let that happen, especially with this Detroit Lions offense that can get going really, really quickly. You cannot just fall apart like you did in the second half of that Steelers game. You got to keep the momentum going no matter what. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle should be obviously big parts of the offense. Raheem Mostert also should be running back 1. I rarely want to see Chase Edmonds on the field unless it's to block out there or maybe to gain a yard or two, but I think it should be Mostert getting basically all of the snaps on offense. But for my score prediction, I'm going to go 35-24 is going to be my prediction. I think that that's a fair score prediction considering that these offenses are pretty good. Defenses haven't been great this season. Dolphins probably better than their defense, but still, I do think that the Dolphins will win this game in a pretty big margin, but the Lions will manage to get their points on the board. Either way, that'll wrap up. Looking forward to tomorrow's game. Let's go out there, get a dub. We'll be back for the review of tomorrow's game. Hopefully sitting here with this smile on my face, but we know what the Dolphins can do to your feelings. Either way, that'll wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.